What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another video. Today's video, a very fast one. I actually meant to do this a couple days ago, 2 days actually, but I hadn't had the time, so I just decided I still need to talk about this. As you guys have already seen in my channel, I already have a video where I talk about the potential of Smite 2, because Stuart, the CEO of Hi-Rez, and the Hi-Rez being the company that owns Paladins, he mentioned he did a question of not making any promises, but if we were to do Paladins 2, what would you guys like to see on it? Right? This was a very simple question. However, do remember that for Smite 2, a year before, he did the exact same tweet, but for Smite 2, and then they did the entire announcement of Smite 2, and now we're already at the open alpha of Smite 2, so you can have an idea that potentially it could happen. It's not impossible. Shooter hero, first-person shooter hero style game, it can still definitely happen. There's a lot of games still trying to go for that, although the only ones that really do still stick around is Team Fortress for some reason, even though it's more of a meme than anything, and then obviously Overwatch 2. Gigantic making its comeback. Although I did play Gigantic, I gotta be honest, it does not feel like Paladins. Not at all. Like with the entire levels and so on, and the different objective styles, it doesn't feel exactly like Paladins or Overwatch. But continuing on, Stuart did a tweet 2 days ago, and where he said this. This was based on a tweet by PC Gamer, where they talk about the entire Helldivers 2 drama that, Sony wanted to force people to actually create a PSN account in order to be able to play Helldivers on PC. Everybody got pissed off. Everybody decided to attack on this situation by review bombing Steam Helldivers 2 with very bad, reviews and so on. And eventually, Sony had to give in and they decided to cancel it for now. But, in this specific tweet, they were talking about how Sony doubles down on removing Helldivers 2 from sale in 177 countries, which were places where you cannot actually create a PSN account unless you own a PlayStation specifically. And actually, some places you can't even do any of that. But still, regardless, he retweeted that and said the following. There's an interesting technical challenge underlying this current industry drama. Providing full cross-platform support can be tricky. The solution most people go to is to have a single master account the users must have regardless of what platform they are on, such as a Hi-Rez account, similar to the entire system we have in Paladins, Smite, and so on. A PSN account, an Epic account, etc. That's how Hi-Rez Generation 1 cross-platform system worked. Remember this line. And then he says, this was a typo obviously, for Smite 1, Paladins 1, etc. So I could continue to read because you might be actually interested in what he has to say, but do bear in mind that he just said that for his Generation 1 games, aka Smite 1 and Paladins 1, this was the system, and now they're doing a brand new system for the Generation 2. Now, first of all, if he's going to talk about an entire Generation 2 of games, that means that potentially we're talking about sequels. Second of all, he addressed Paladins as Paladins 1, not just as Paladins. And, he could have also mentioned Realm Royale and so on. He did not. He just mentioned Smite and Paladins, even though he did type Smite as Smiter. Not a bad name, actually. Pretty cool name. But even so, he's talking about the entire crossplay experience, crossover experience of your data and so on, how we have to go to Hi-Rez account, my.hirezstudios.com account, and there you connect everything, and you'll have a master account. You started playing on PlayStation, it goes over to the Hi-Rez account and then spreads over to other places, but your main account is still the PlayStation. And what they're saying here is that they have changed this for the next generation of games. So this entire mentioning of Paladins, being Paladins 1, and also talking about a Gen 2 section of games, automatically raises the question, what if, and hear me out here for a second, what if they're actually working on Paladins 2? Think about it for a second. We haven't had a brand new champion in almost 6 months, right? Plus, the last champion was an Echo champion. Even though the developers refused to admit it, it was an Echo champion. Let's not lie about it or say it any other way. And then the newest champion coming up is actually a champion rework, aka Moji being a support. So which means that they're doing a lot less in these last at least half a year. It would not be impossible for Paladins 2 to exist. And I know that some of you are probably questioning, yeah, I hope not, because it's going to happen the same thing as Smite. Listen, Smite has a lot more gods and a lot more skins. Even though I understand that it could potentially happen that, some skins being left behind. We still have to understand. I want Paladins 2 to actually happen. But with proper advertising and with proper gaming experience for both new players and returning players to have something to grind, even without being the exact same thing. Over every patch a battle pass, every patch here's a new champion, grind to level 50. No, I want stuff, new mechanics, new menus, new everything, right? Like stuff that actually looks modern to the rest of all the games out there, that feels fun to play. Like, look at Helldivers, folks. We're playing versus AI bots. We're talking about a computer playing versus you, and people still have shitloads of fun with it, right? The game actually has success, even though it's you and potentially some other people versus AI, right? This could be a reality in Paladins. We could have PvE modes. We could have a whole different story mode and so on, like the one that was promised for Overwatch that never happened. There's a lot of stuff that can be done. Ping systems and so on, right? And think about it for a second. They've been removing everything. They removed the showcases. That's all right. The patch notes are very, 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 like, simple now. No pictures, no nothing. No splash arts. No AOC. No stream team. No, like, Crystal Awards, no community tournaments of like the avatars, arts, and so on. No community battle passes. A lot of the stuff has been removed, and for some reason, the last few battle passes have been feeling very, very weak. Not only that, but the last patch before this one we're about to get into right now, of the Fable and whatever it is. Before that one, they actually brought a battle pass with old content in it, right? Just so that we could have something until the next patch, which could potentially happen again in the future. We don't know. So they're stalling. So either A, a lot of the people who are working in Paladins 1 are being dragged over to the Smite playtests and the entire team, just helping out and so on. Or B, they're working on Paladins 2, and we just don't know about it. Also, here's another perfect example. We're not hearing a lot of stuff about Rogue Company and Realm Royale. I mean, Realm Royale even worse. Rogue Company still has some stuff. Although it is very, very quiet there, according to what I understand. And what you're probably wondering, why are you talking about these three games? Well, the thing is, they joined up Paladins, Rogue Company, and Realm Royale into the same team, right? And this means that the person in charge of Paladins, aka Radar, which used to be also the director of the entire section of like banning and unbanning, account reviewing and so on. He's now the one in charge of all of these three different departments, right? And I haven't been seeing a lot of him talking about or the future plans for Paladins. We haven't seen like roadmaps. We haven't seen anything. It is very weird and very quiet. As if, almost like they want to keep this surprise. They don't want to overhype it and, it turns out to be something shit. So take this with, a little bit of a grain of salt there. Don't believe it just yet. Don't be overhyped. I don't like when people claim that I'm just overhyping people for no reason. But I'm just analyzing this entire situation. I'm over-analyzing it, hyper-analyzing it, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And these ideas sometimes come to my head. This is similar to what I said a long time ago, that Paladins might get Unreal Engine 4, and people just fucking flamed me for it. Almost put me on the goddamn the witch fire and shit. But, they were teasing it. And then it never happened. And so that was shit. So imagine they are actually doing Paladins 2, but they decided, yeah, we're not doing the same mistake. We're just not going to tell anybody. When the time is right, it'll be there. Hopefully. Who knows? But that's pretty much it. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think that there's going to be a Paladins 2? And if you do think there's going to be a Paladins 2, what would you like to see on it? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and type in the comment section what you'd like to see in Paladins 2. I don't know anything. Just go ahead and do it. Bye-bye.